will be this color today.
I think that looks real good. I think if you want, I think there's a lot of bleed from the background, but I think a lot of that has to do with you have white walls, so you're getting a lot of splash. Whereas like I have like dark red walls, so there's like not a lot of light that's being cast back at me.
Live Grog.
Hello.
Hey guys, we're just talking stuff.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Zero Strategy podcast. We hope you're all doing well. I have no idea what episode number this is. 17? 18?
Do this every time.
I know.
18.
Should have a list.
I should have a list, but I don't.
It's 18.
It's 18. Okay. Episode 18. So I'm joined today by my wonderful co-hosts. First of all, we have the Cyber Project.
Hello.
We have Just Grog.
Hello.
We have Sir Humps.
Hello.
And we have Java Monkey.
Who's not here?
Who's muted. Okay.
He's getting a drink from his bathroom, apparently.
He's still on the shitter.
Java's here, so...
He's taking a huge shit. You're going to have to give him at least 10 minutes to get back.
Okay. So, as we usually do, we start each week off with a brief catch up with everyone, see what we've been up to. Obviously, I missed last week's episode, but I was watching. I enjoyed it. Sorry for not being here. First of all, Cyber, what have you been up to the last week or so?
Well, I got told that I'm going back to work on Tuesday, so I've just been living in a mood of depression. A normal holiday for me. I have a few YouTube videos ready to go, and then something completely contradictory came out, and I'm like, if I post this, it's just gonna be old shit. So I'm not gonna post that kind of stuff. Apart from that, playing a lot of Warzone, getting a lot better. Not raging as much.
It's always
Apart
good.
from that, that's it. I got a new ferret. Apart from that.
Oh, yeah. Can we show the stream, or is
Yeah.
he not there?
Yeah, give me the ferret. It'd be like
Oh,
Thor's hammer, right? You ready?
That's gonna be my new alert.
Hey,
Hey, give me
She's
the
not gonna bring
ferret.
him.
fair enough. Grog, what have you been up to this last week?
This week's been kind of crazy. I haven't really streamed at all, in part because there's construction going on at the house, and in short, my life is kind of crazy, flipped, turned upside down. I'm moving to about like I was
That's a
trying
song.
to yeah. West Philadelphia, born and raised. No, things are weird right now. I'm supposed to go back to my day job tomorrow for a brief period, and then the streams are just like kind of all over the place. But I think in like 2 weeks' time, things will settle down and I'll be back to my usual. I've been playing a lot of Warzone, but mostly like I can't be in the house because there's construction going on, so I'm kind of like laying low against my will. But yeah, I'll be streaming today though.
Nice.
After
Hell yeah.
after the podcast.
Let's do
Good.
some Warzone.
Is the construction still kind of due to be going on, or is it nearly finished?
We're day 3 of 9.
Oh,
So yeah. So hopefully by Friday
yeah, that'd be
we'll
good.
be done.
Awesome. All right, and Humps, what have you been up to?
I've been not sleeping a lot. Because I just like staying up super late. It's super fun and not my choice at all. But been playing a lot of Warzone, getting back. Actually, been playing a lot of Destiny. When we hop on Destiny, we've been doing private matches, which I find a lot of fun.
We've been doing
especially
those
when-
random loadouts too.
the
right?
random loadout private matches. They're super fun, and people like to do that stuff. And I've noticed a lot of people do it, like Teddy, Iceman. A lot of people are
Yeah.
getting on that train as well. But no, I've been off work pretty much all week, so I haven't just been playing games and watching the kiddos, and not a whole lot.
I'm jealous
enough.
of the stash of Cheez-Its and Trulies though. I just noticed them in the bottom. I'm like, I'm hungry now. Goddamn.
They're all empty.
All right, and
my trash shelf.
Java, sorry for starting before you were back. That's my bad.
No, it's absolutely fine.
What have you been up
Sorry, This
to?
man went to the
dare you.
bathroom, right?
Well, because he doesn't
Knowing
have the
full
face
what was
cam,
gonna happen.
I didn't know if
don't
he
know
was
what I'm
back
here
or
on.
not. Yeah, that's my bad. But yeah, what have you been up to since we last had you on the show?
So my lease ended on my apartment, so I'm back home for the summer while I try and find somewhere else. So a lot of moving and everything this week, which was always a good fun. Which is why I don't have my webcam on or anything, because I'm still getting everything set up properly in this corner of a downstairs office. But it's great, at least. The weather's been lovely, so I got sunburnt. And then I guess
Same.
this is also a podcast about video games, so I should talk about that too. More Final Fantasy, more Civilization. And I reinstalled Destiny this last week.
Nice.
And
You
awkward moment. I've also been playing Destiny random role private matches. Just haven't had the chance to play with
deleted
hubs.
Destiny, Java? Please
I
tell me there's
did.
an issue. Tell me there was an issue and not just a weakness.
On
So yeah, I
be honest, we
reinstalled
can't see your
Destiny.
face.
And I
For shame, Java.
I've been
For
playing that
shame,
again.
Java.
Fair enough.
But
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
I've actually been having good fun with that. Like it's been a while since I played it, and I think I needed a bit of a break from it.
Yeah, no,
I know you were
100%.
talking about this earlier, Condi, about the lack of chase and stuff. I'm
Yeah.
very excited for September, but I've just been
Mhm.
filling the time with other games until then, and filling my hard drive space with other things other than Destiny.
Yeah.
Like what, Jabba?
Warzone. It's a
Okay.
big game.
Yeah, Warzone. Yeah, you almost need a complete separate hard drive just for Warzone.
Not gonna lie, I bought a new SSD.
just got Warzone
I'm
on
gonna
it.
put Warzone
He
on
got
it.
he used his label printer. He's like Warzone.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat. My hard drive's almost full, so I'm gonna have to start making some
Yeah, the next
decisions.
season of Warzone is actually coming with a hard drive.
Special edition.
I love it. I love it. I mean, I've been mostly the same. Like, I've been back at work and it's been very, very busy, full on. So I've not had as much time to stream either. It's been a mix of Warzone and a little bit of Destiny sprinkled in here and there. But yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as Java a little bit, where I'm just starting to be kind of burnt out on it. But looking forward to September, big time for it. Hopefully this coming week I'm going to be able to get some more games in with all you guys. Hopefully I'm just a bit less busy, but we'll see. So cool. Well, we have a lot of topics to go through today. The first one I want to get into is the whole situation with Mixer. So just to kind of give us a headline, if you haven't heard, Mixer decided to close up shop. They are going away. 22nd of July, I think they said.
I believe so, yeah.
Right, so that's the end of Mixer, and they are basically attempting to merge into Facebook Gaming, and they're trying to kind of push their viewers and creators over into Facebook Gaming to see, to try and, I guess, sort of merge the platforms, which has had some mixed results. So yeah, there's a few controversies about it. It's obviously a very tough situation, but I wanted to kind of dive into it a little bit. Does anyone have any thoughts they want to lead with here?
Yeah, it's bullshit what Mixer done.
Okay.
Agreed.
Let's
I
go.
was told before the podcast to go in hard, right? Literally, the staff knew fuck all about it, right? They were briefed 20 minutes before the actual announcement went out on Twitter. Twitter of all things. None of the partners got an email or anything. And ironically, I was just like browsing people's Twitter feed, and somebody posted a live reaction. None of the partners knew at all. The only indication that they had that this wasn't bullshit was the fact that it actually came out from the official Mixer website, which is insanity because I think there was, I want to say, around about 1,500 partners on Mixer. Imagine not telling 1,500 people that pretty much depend on your service for either income, whether it be full-time or part-time, or even just a hobby or an escape or anything like that. By the way, we're going to be closing in a month. See you later.
Bye.
That's the way the tweet came off. It's just it's insane.
It was also equally shitty because not only were people, it's like making an ex by dumping your girlfriend or boyfriend by texting them. Like
you
it's so
shouldn't do
fucking
that.
impersonal. No, you shouldn't do that.
Oh,
Take-
Caitlin, I'm sorry.
Go over the notes. I sent you those flashcards. But also I went back and I looked at it a second time before we started the show today, and the way they phrased it was also just so shitty. It says, Mixer partners, streamers, and community. Today we've got some very big news for you.
Yeah.
well, we've decided to close the operations at Mixer. It's like, wait, hold the fuck on. Like, you guys like aren't in the habit of writing like bereavement cards or something like, congratulations, your grandma's dead. Like, like, come on,
Yeah.
read the fucking room. Like, it's not very big news for you. It's like, we're sorry to report, or, like, it felt so cavalier, like how they just signed off. And it's like, I don't know. It would be like if you were on the Titanic watching it sink and the captain's just like, well, see you fuckers. And then just, gets away in their helicopter. And you're like, wait, how did that happen? Why do we have helicopters right now? Like, I didn't think they were invented. Like, it's just so strange that they gave this like flip response to lead off what is otherwise like a nail in the coffin for some people, because if they were already banned on Twitch, sometimes for reasons that were not really within their control, because sometimes people got banned because of like silly corner case issues. If that's the case, then like, where do they go? Like this might have been their only reprieve, their only platform to do what they do, and to hear about it through a tweet that's like, hey guys, what's up? Like, congratulations, you're all fired. Like, that's not
Yeah.
who did that? Who was their their community like media partner that like managed that shit? Because that is just so tacky.
It was almost like the cousin of one of the employees was there, and he's 5 years old. We're gonna call him Timmy, right? Timmy got a hold of the fucking keyboard and wrote that bullshit statement. It's insane. But just to highlight one of your points that you just brought up, some of the reason why people came to Mixer was they got banned off another platform, right? There was one streamer in particular, Lindsay Wood, right? She got banned from Twitch because she accidentally showed some nudity on stream, whether it be YouTube or whatever, and she was permanently banned. So she moved to Mixer, right? She made a life on Mixer. She got partner very quickly, from what I remember, and then Mixer goes and does this, and she doesn't want to go to Facebook, right? And she doesn't want to go to YouTube. So she had no other options. Luckily enough, she actually recorded like an apology video of basically saying, look, here's why I was banned on Twitch. Support, can you help me? And it worked, to be fair.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that I don't want to, like, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like, say anything negative about her, but she's got a lot of movement when it comes to Mixer. She's got a huge community. If the smaller creators that only has, I don't know, let's say a certain amount of small following, they can't do shit like this. They've literally forced them to go to no man's land, really.
Yeah.
If they don't want to stream on another big platform other than Twitch.
There is.
Now, did they say something, or do we know? Did Ninja and Shroud know beforehand?
They have to have. We
yeah.
So we can. There's a lot of little sort of intricacies I want to get into with this, because there's tons of different things and angles to look at this. From what was reported and what seems to be fact, Ninja and Shroud were approached by Facebook Gaming and offered a lot of money. Sources were saying almost double. I don't know if that's confirmed, but a lot of money to go to Facebook, and they both said no, which forced Mixer to buy out their contracts, meaning that they're free agents, but they got the full payout for their term. Again, sources were claiming it was something in the region of 30 million for Ninja and about 10 million for Shroud. meaning
around about that.
Meaning they're free agents now. They can go wherever they want, but they got their payout from Mixer, from Microsoft. So they have to have known, because they would have had to negotiate their contracts and try and get them onto Facebook Gaming. I mean, as far as the internet seems to be concerned, those guys have come out on top. Really, if that is true, it seems to be true, then those guys have really, they've come out of this landed on their feet, they're not the ones that are going to suffer from this. It is obviously the smaller creators. On the topic of, so again, I want to get into all of the different ones, but to go at this kind of in an order, you mentioned how the way Mixer did it was really shitty. They didn't give anyone warning. They just put a tweet, right? How?
Just to put a little bit of more, pardon the pun, Shroud onto that, their social media actually was under fire because I don't know if you've seen a tweet from I forget his entire Twitter handle. It was Millie. He was an ex-employee from Mixer. He was from the African American community, and he exposed a huge amount of racism from his, I believe, line manager. Um, so all of this was kind of going out. There was a lot of partners, a lot of streamers, and a lot of viewers of Mixer saying you need to fire this person. And then I would say at a maximum 5 days later, that tweet came out. So it was almost like, that's your response?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, that decision is months, if not years in the past. They had this game plan, they had that roadmap. If Mixer went south, this is what we're going to do. They would have had to have approached so many different lawyers, so many different heads of departments to like decide to go with Facebook Gaming. But the timing of it is just atrocious, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, what I wanted to
Yeah.
ask was what would have been the right way to do it? Because, I mean, like you mentioned, there was, 1,500 partners. How do they
Give or take,
notify all those partners without leaks coming out, without it spilling out in their own way? I mean, they know that this is not going to be a popular...
Well, that's the thing is I think you just you notify people in due course and you just give an expiration date. I mean, like if you just say, you know, in the next 4 months, Mixer will be closing down. You know, like they could have been as secretive as they wanted to in terms of making these decisions behind closed doors, and then ultimately just said, you know, due to circumstances that we are not able to disclose or due to financial, you know, shortcomings, like we are going to shutter, you know, Mixer and close it down and pass off the assets to Facebook. And you know, between now and let's say, you know, August or November or October or whatever the date is, like, you know, this is the date that we're going to sunset things. Like, you know, give people a window. Like there wouldn't be leaks. You still have the announcement be sudden if you needed it to be sudden, so as to like keep only the people in the know that you want in the know. But like, don't fucking tell them that it's gonna like close up shop in fucking July when it's like
True.
the end of June.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's like if you go to work and you come home and you find the locks have been changed on your door and your family doesn't live there anymore. Like that is just so fucking sudden. You don't have time to prepare. You don't have time to, I mean, for some people, if this, like, if they have incorporated as an LLC and like they've created a business around this, like they're going to need to make, you know, changes and preparations on their own so that they can either figure out how they're going to continue that individual business as a content creator, or if they're going to like shutter their own personal side of things and then try to find a job, you know, locally, like outside of the gaming industry. Like it doesn't, there's just no courtesy paid to anyone involved. The only courtesy paid were to the people who knew about it, and it doesn't seem like that was a precious few.
Yeah.
And that's just like morally bankrupt of them to do it. I don't think that Mixer closing, like Mixer, it sucks that Mixer closed because as a platform, like competition breeds innovation, and it's a healthier environment to have Twitch and Mixer and YouTube and Facebook Gaming all existing than having some of them go away.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that I don't actually have an issue. Like if Mixer has to close for whatever reason because of mismanagement, because you know they have people at the helm who have, you know, like who are you know, racially insensitive and you need a restructuring and that's the reason why you have to dissolve it, fine. If it's they're insolvent and they don't have the finances, fine. There's plenty of reasons why they would go under, but but like Billy said, it didn't just happen overnight. They passed all their assets off to Facebook Gaming, but like Facebook didn't buy them as far as I understand.
Yeah.
So like that's a strange turn of events. Like why did Mixer even feel like they were beholden to Facebook for any of that? Like it's a Microsoft company. Like so
Very weird.
that to me is bizarre, and for them to like pass all of the assets so freely implies that this was in the works for a while. So why the late notice? That's just a dick move.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
so many different ways that they could have dealt with it, in my opinion. To give a little bit of background to everybody listening, I deal with contracts at my work on a daily basis. There's so many different types of contract that you can basically force people or willingly give them the opportunity to sign the contract where they cannot discuss the details of what's included within that contract, because there's a lot of like moving parts in a merger like this, and one of them was that Mixer partners were being migrated over to Facebook partners. I can't remember. Is it Level Up Program or whatever it is? They could have had them sign that agreement and say, look, we're giving you 7 days notice, we're giving you 14 days notice, a month's notice. You cannot say a word. If you do, you forfeit X, right? It's insane that they did this without not telling a single soul, including the staff, 20 minutes before everyone else knew. The fact that obviously there's a lot of Mixer partners that lost pretty much everything they had. But what about all of the staff members as well? There's a lot of people that work for that company that just got shipped off.
Yeah.
I personally don't know the details. I don't know if they're moving to Facebook Gaming, if they're going to be migrated into different departments within Microsoft. But if my boss told me in 20 minutes you no longer have a job with this department,
yeah,
You'd be gutted.
I would not only be gutted, but I would shit myself, because the reaction in my brain would be, how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to do this? What's my next move? And hats off to the people that have...
That's what the next move would be.
I don't even know if you... I don't know
it
the
just
ins
depends.
and outs.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would sue them if I could.
It's so weird, like a big, like multi-state national company like that, like, because like even like within our own country, like America, like being fired, it depends on the state. Like South Carolina, it's an at-will state. You can be fired for no reason. Like you can come into work and can be like, you're done, and you can't do anything about it because that's just how the state is. So like I don't know how it would work if they have to have a reason or if it was in their contracts, and I don't know.
It's tough. It's definitely a shitty situation. Like, so my experience when I first read it, you know, I was obviously shocked, and like I'll admit, like I saw a meme about it and I kind of thought it was funny and I shared it, and then I thought about it and I ended up deleting the retweet because I just thought, like, God, it's my heart breaks for those people. Imagine Twitch did that to us tomorrow, you know. I wouldn't know what to do. I would be devastated. Years and years of work on a channel and on a platform to just be gone. Like my immediate response was like, funny meme. Like, you know, the blue hair man went to Mixer and now he's, you know, his platform's gone. But it's like, it's not funny. Like it's really scary. And again, if Twitch was to do that, I know how devastated I would be, and you know, my heart goes out to the Mixer community who are in this tough position now. I think the next thing I want to mention is obviously the choice to partner with Facebook. My experience of Facebook gaming is, I have to say, I'm not a fan of it. I downloaded the app and like I looked it up and it kind of, you know, recognized my Facebook account and it recognized sort of what games I would like. And I scrolled down and the first thing I come to is a stream, and I'm watching it for a few minutes and then I realize this isn't live. This is a VOD.
Oh shit.
This is the first thing that it recommended me. A VOD. And I had to scroll through ad after ad after ad until eventually I found an actual live broadcast. And it blew my mind because it's not even obvious if it's live or not. I was watching it for several minutes before I clicked, like, this isn't a live show that I'm watching right now. Why is the app telling me that? I didn't like it. I'm not a fan of Facebook in general. But there are people, I mean, King Gothalion moved to Facebook, which I think is an interesting choice because I don't understand why he wouldn't go back.
That threw me off.
And he moved instantly.
He must have been like, yeah, that money's good. I'll take it.
I mean,
that's the only thing I can think of, because he had to have experienced, like you, Facebook gaming. Like I would imagine he would have gone as a user to see how it interfaced as for his audience, and he probably was like, this is garbage, and they're like, yeah, well, here's a bunch of money, bro. He's just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. So that was the
"We'll
other
work
thing.
on that later.
He got a new house last year. I mean, he's got kids. Like,
Yeah.
Exactly. He's got bills to
dude
pay.
has
You
to-
know what I mean?
yeah.
He's got
I
that
mean,
sick ass
and-
man cave to pay for.
and the thing is, like, can't hate on that. You know what I mean? Like, that is what, at a
No.
certain point, if this is your profession, like, you let's put it this way. It's like if somebody said, hey, you know, we're going to be closing out your branch location, or you could take, you know, maybe a small temporary bump in pay and we move you out to the other office. And you'd be like, so the options are lose my job or get some money and keep my job. Like, it's not a hard choice. You know what I mean? Like, no one's going to have a gun put to their head to be like, yeah, fuck it. You know, like, if they're going to give me some money, I'm going to go for it.
And maybe
The
he's
other-
thinking of
that-
it. Maybe he's thinking of it like the NFL does, National Football League. That's American football for you EU people. Weird looking
Never
ball
heard
that
of
we
it.
play with. Yeah, it's a thing. It's
Actually
a
a
thing.
big fan.
But like
never
that's what
heard of
happens.
it, you know?
Sometimes
Like-
they'll get like free agents. They'll be part of a big team, like he was, and then something happens, his contract's out, and the free agents, and they won't get picked up in any of the big teams. So he goes to the Canadian League. He's playing there in the Canadian League for a little bit, and then when things brighten back up, come on back down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, as chat was pointing out, we know like Goth has got friends on Facebook Gaming already, which I guess is part of it. You know, and I do wonder, you know, what will happen when his contract ends with Facebook, and see, you know, if he jumps over. Because again, obviously Mixer was a sort of a side project for Microsoft, and I assume Facebook Gaming is kind of a branch of Facebook. And I guess there's no guarantees that Facebook Gaming won't go away either. You know, they could
Oh,
turn
for
around
sure.
and close shop.
Well, the thing is, statistically, they have grown considerably
They
over
have.
the last year.
But I don't trust their
whereas Mixer-
numbers. I don't trust their
Well-
numbers, man. I don't know.
I mean, you always have to take like statistics like that on the merit. You know, it's obviously not Facebook that's pumping out these statistics. So let's assume that they did gain, what was it? Something
A lot,
ridiculous, like
yeah.
20% over the space of a year. I think they went from like 2.5% all the way up to like 23 or something like that. In a year, for a company to do that, if those statistics are correct, that means A, they're doing something right, or B, they've got a large audience, bigger than Twitch and bigger than Mixer, that a very small percentage of them are like slowly watching live streams, which we kind of know that that's true. I mean, like, I hate to say this, but I'm gonna say it because it's my honest opinion. Facebook gaming seems like, you know, the old gamers that like are 60-year-old and they've only played like the N64 and Facebook.
Me and Grog resemble that remark.
I'm only a couple of years younger than you, but like that's the kind of pigeonhole that if you ask anybody, that's who it is. Whereas I don't think it actually is. You know, there's a lot of new streamers moving over to Facebook, and they must be doing something right.
Dude,
They
I
must
see
be.
every so often on my feed, I'll get a promoted stream, and I'll see. I mean, I don't want to throw any shade, but like I saw a stream, and it was just horrible. Like the overlays took up like about 70% of the screen, and it was all like Microsoft Paint, not even like in an ironic way, like YouTube, Instagram, Twitter with all the names, the whole screen. They're playing Fortnite, and they've got like 600-700 viewers on Facebook, and I'm like, how? I just don't get it. Like, it's not an enjoyable watching experience from my point of view as an outsider. I don't know the community. Maybe that's the secret. I know the app is not for me. It's not intuitive. It's confusing. It takes too long to find a stream to watch. Scrolling through it on just the general Facebook, I see numbers that make no sense. And it blows my mind. It's very weird.
Issues that I have with Facebook is, as everyone has said, the UI is shit. The means by which you navigate through like different content creators to find material is not great. And as a couple people in chat have pointed out, Facebook is all about pushing ads. Facebook, when it started out, definitely was more content forward. In terms of your timeline was linear. If you followed something, you saw it as it happened. There was less promoted tweets. Facebook now, and I'm speaking in my own personal experience, Facebook is an excellent tool for pushing content, but it is not for pushing new content. It is for pushing promoted content. Facebook, by and large, it doesn't matter whether you're using it for personal reasons, just to chat with friends or family, or whether you're trying to follow like a particular business or company that's represented there, or in this case, Facebook Gaming. There's so much ad related content that's being shoveled at you. And that far and away is one of their, at least in my opinion, one of their primary interests right now. Facebook makes so much money off ads, but to counter that, it's not even just the ads that bug me, because I can deal with a pre-roll ad here and there. I can deal with seeing a promoted thing in the timeline and I just scroll past it. What bothers me is the fact that there is almost not a single year that has gone by that Facebook has not had a data breach of some sort. Um, if it's not there was a data breach in 2018, there was a data breach in 2019, and we're talking not like hundreds of records or thousands of records, but millions of records. And it's individuals' information that is being tied to their personal accounts. It's also people are grabbing information as it pertains to things they've liked. So like I have very little trust in the security of Facebook as it pertains to my information. And the thing is, Facebook Gaming doesn't really allow you to have like an online persona that is that distant from your real persona. So if you've created a character or an avatar that you sort of live behind as a streamer, that kind of sort of goes away to an extent. People will know more about you, and for some people, people won't care. Like some people will be like, fuck it, I don't care if you know what city I live in, or fuck it, I don't care if you know what school I went to. But like, especially for people who are frequently targeted by trolls and abusers and stalkers, like this is really dangerous shit. Like you don't want more people being able to figure out like, oh, I figured out where this female streamer lives. Like people will do some creepy fucked up shit, as we've already seen. Like the you know like gaming right now, the whole industry is going through a Me Too situation where individuals are coming forward to talk about like inappropriate like sexual or behavior or physical harassment or threats. And like I don't see that quieting down with anyone who's moving to Facebook. If anything, people are going to be able to find out more about you, and I personally don't like that. But yeah, they're pushing ad revenue as hard, and that's kind of what they're all about. I worry that they won't be fully committed to supporting their streamers by giving them the tools necessary to provide a quality viewing experience for their viewers and their subs. And instead, I feel like it's just I worry they will do the bare minimum to provide a framework where live views are possible, but again, they're not necessarily going to pull out all the stops and give you the bells and whistles that you'd like to have, or people did have on Mixer, and I think that's a shame. But
Yeah, totally agree. I saw a lot of backlash on the initial tweets about people not wanting to go to Facebook. Even on Gathalian's tweet about moving to Facebook, a lot of the replies were saying, I just can't bring myself to go to Facebook. I'll miss you, and it's really sad. I know a lot of the worry is that, Facebook encourages you to use your profile, which is obviously going to be displaying a lot of things like where you live and who your friends are and all this sort of stuff. And a lot of people don't want to do that. And then there's the argument, well, I could make another Facebook account just to watch. But like what is it's just making viewers jump through more and more hoops to be able to have a quote unquote safe viewing experience. It's a very odd move to partner with Facebook, and I don't know who else they could have went with, because I don't think YouTube would have had any interest, and Twitch, as their sort of Mixer's biggest competitor, probably wasn't one that they were going to be doing with. But I mean, this is potentially a huge win for Twitch. They can get a lot of the big Mixer talent back on their platform,
which they already have started doing. They've started giving partnerships to a lot of deserving individuals.
Mm-hmm.
It's, to me, I have kind of a biased opinion on this because I was obviously on Mixer before January. There are a lot of partnered streamers that came from Mixer and are now partnered on Twitch that had a lot of controversy around their statistics. And I mean, I'm not going to dive too much into it, but I do find it incredibly supportive on Twitch's behalf that they are allowing Mixer partners to move over from a completely different situation and environment and give them the opportunity to be a Twitch partner on their platform. But to me, with the amount of view botting and potentially embedded like views on a lot of Mixer's streamers, to me it blows my mind that there's a lot of people that are slipping through the cracks and are becoming Twitch partners. But on the other side of that, there's a lot of people that fucking deserve it. You know, they've been on it since Beam. If people didn't know what Beam is, it was Mixer. They rebranded to Mixer. So I believe that's been going on for what, maybe 7-8 years, if you just class Mixer as one entity. They've built up huge followings. There was Jared FPS. He was one of the OGs on Beam. He had something like 500,000 followers on Mixer. So they have retrospectively built a huge community on these other platforms, and they are bringing it across to Twitch. But
And maybe, I mean, we don't know all the details with that partner to partnership type thing.
Yeah.
There could
they
very well
applied.
be a probation period. You know what I mean? To where they're like, you were a partner, here's your partner status on Twitch. However, you have 6 months to prove that, you know, you can maintain the partner status. And specifically for those view botter ones that might slip through the cracks, Twitch is pretty good at finding people that view bot. So after that 6-month period, they're like, well, your numbers are great. However, we find that you're view botting, you know, half your viewership type of thing.
I would agree with that, but there has been quite a lot of people uploading the entire email that they've got, and it literally is the exact same as every other partner on Twitch. It's the exact same.
I mean, that's just the email, though. I mean, you don't, because I mean, they might have.
I do see where you're coming from.
I mean,
we
just
don't
the email
know,
saying
like-
like, "Hey, congratulations, you're a partner." Your partner. I mean, there's more to that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I mean, I imagine there's an actual contract you have to go through, and you know, they're not going to post the entire contract on there.
Yeah, I would imagine it's exactly the same as the affiliate contract that you have to go through. Well, it's not really a contract, but like
agreement.
Terms of service agreement. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
thing is, I don't think it can necessarily be a bad move on Twitch, because if there are people that were view botting and things, if that scenario happened and they got partnered, they're not going to come over and have instant success, you know, on this other platform, most likely. I think the interesting thing is the people who, as you sort of alluded to earlier, that were banned on Twitch and moved over to Mixer. A couple of notable people. There's one guy, Ice, if you know who that is, who has
who's that?
Ice Poseidon, I think his name is, or Ice Poison. Now, I don't follow him much, but I keep up to date with any like sort of news things. And obviously, he was banned on Twitch. There was a lot of controversy around all that. But from what I've heard, he's actually built a fairly positive community on Mixer, and has now released a video trying to get Twitch to give him another chance. And I think it just shows, because obviously there is the option to go to YouTube or to go over to Facebook, but people are desperate to get back onto Twitch. And obviously there's going to be a big influx potentially of broadcasters and viewers, hopefully, that are going to be moving back to the platform, which is a very, very good thing. It is just, obviously, these the sort of the Ninja Shroud issue is still up in the air, because they, as far as I know, have not confirmed exactly where they're going to be going. I don't know if are they still streaming on Mixer currently?
I don't think Shroud has. I do know Ninja had like a farewell kind of, this is going to be the last one in a week or so.
Okay.
Shroud did change his Twitter bio. It now just says YouTube. Whether that's a clue, or he's just changing it where that's
where his content is
predominantly
currently.
where his content is.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah, because he already has a channel over there.
In my mind, it makes so much sense for Shroud to come back. Shroud was not doing badly on Twitch before he left, you know?
He was doing like he dropped 75% of his viewership when he moved to Mixer. Now, if you look over the holiday period, roughly he had the same amount of viewers in the first week to 2 weeks. After that, he dropped roughly around about 75%, including Ninja, of his actual viewership. In my eyes, Shroud left on good terms with Twitch.
Yeah.
You know, he had a business decision. He said, "I'm gonna get X amount of money here. My VODs are gonna be better quality. I can make better content. And this is the best move for me." The reason why Ninja left, reportedly from his wife, was he wasn't on good terms with Twitch. He didn't like the way that they were running things, predominantly on his own personal brand. He couldn't expand the way that he wanted to because Twitch was trying to hold him back.
Yep.
So he left on such a negative note, and then you had all this controversy where there was actual porn being streamed on his account.
Yep.
And then, well, correct me if
It
I'm
was
wrong,
recommended.
They literally no, it was on his account.
Somebody hacked.
No, it was
somebody
on it.
hacked his channel. Sorry. Yes, there's
Yes,
another instance
Yeah.
where it was recommending top streamers, and somebody was also streaming porn, and it was recommending it. But
Yep.
yes, a lot of stuff like that.
And then on
Correct.
top of that, he was the only individual when they moved from Twitch to Mixer or to another platform
The
where
deleted
they,
usage.
yeah, they put up the your streamers in another castle, like, and they didn't have a bunch of his content available. Like, he was the only person that they actually treated differently
Yeah.
in terms of how his profile page was displayed in his absence. And when because Ninja made the move first and then Shroud, but when Shroud made that move, they didn't do the same thing to his account, because there was that initial blowback about, he was unhappy with how his page was maintained in his absence, and they didn't make any changes to anyone else who left. So
They gave him a goodwill video as well. They didn't do
Yeah.
shit for Ninja.
yeah,
But he was the golden child. It hurt when he left. You know.
I mean,
Yeah.
it hurt when Ninja left as well because he had what 50,000 active subscribers.
Yeah.
It might even be more. And if you look at Doc today, he has roughly what is it 40-ish?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll get into that. Yeah.
Forget about the controversy. But let's say as of a month ago, he had roughly around about 40,000.
Yeah.
So like, even his numbers today, when you look at the lockdown period and the whole COVID-19, there's a lot more eyes on Twitch, and even they can't break his numbers from a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind, obviously, Mixer's completely shutting down. There's a lot of genuine people that have built up huge communities and are deserving of Twitch partners. Shroud and Ninja, if they come back to the platform, I think that would be a huge success for them and for us. There's a lot of people from Mixer that will watch their style of content and not go to Facebook Gaming or YouTube. But I just don't see it happening with Ninja. I really don't. With
No.
Shroud, yes. But the way everything went down with Ninja, no. I just
Yeah,
don't think
they're
it's
taking their time. They're sorting out their contracts. I think the important thing is that we as a platform, I don't know how prevalent this is, but I've certainly seen a little bit of the sort of platform wars. People, Twitch is better, Mixer's better, whatever, right? I think the important thing is that we need to just not do that. Understand that these people have lost their home in a sense. A lot of these communities are, are hurting, and we need to, as a platform, welcome them in, and because we're all just playing games, we're all just watching streams, it's the same thing, and the idea that a Mixer streamer could come over here and get any kind of negativity from Twitch kind of fucking sucks, right? That sucks. Obviously there's a lot of Twitch that there's a large negative side to Twitch. When you've got numbers of a certain size, it's just going to happen. But I think particularly with these smaller creators, people our size, again, I would be heartbroken if Twitch just disappeared tomorrow. It's years of work just gone. We need to be welcoming them. I had a Mixer streamer come into my chat today, and talk a little bit about it. It's horrible. Cyber, I have a question for you. On a scale of 1 to 10, how glad are you that you moved over a few months ago?
I would say a 10, right?
Low ball it in.
But the previous week, I would probably say a 2,
Yeah.
and that's not with my content. It's a lot of my friends that have moved over because they were forced to.
Yeah.
There's a lot of amazing content creators with families and responsibilities that they just had no idea what the fuck they were gonna do. But there was a lot of people that unfollowed me on a lot of social media when I moved to Twitch, and now they're on Twitch. So I'm gonna take the high road on that one and say welcome, because I genuinely fucking mean it.
Yeah. Absolutely. So there's another point I had. I guess what... Sorry, go ahead, Grog.
I mean, all I was gonna say is that like, it's while we're speculating over like where will these people go, what decisions will they make. For many, I think that they'll probably look at Twitch as the safer bet than Facebook. YouTube is
Oh, yeah.
established, so YouTube is probably also a safe harbor. Anyone going to Facebook again is just casting a net, seeing what they catch, and hoping that it doesn't go away in a year. I think that's probably what is going through the minds of a lot of people who move to Facebook. I think that, playing devil's advocate, because again, I think this is kind of a trying to find the silver lining in a shitty situation, and again, I don't think it's the right take, but I think that in some way this is going to be the best thing that happened to Twitch. It's only going to solidify and strengthen Twitch. And again, I'm not condoning the way Mixer went out and the fact that Mixer went out, because I think they should have been around. I think it will have been healthier for the industry for Mixer to still be alive today and next year and the year after that. So I think that they should have figured out whatever was wrong. They shouldn't have necessarily scrapped it the way they did. And I think that the way they did it was immensely disrespectful to the staff who worked at the company, as well as the streamers who made up their workforce. But it will be good for Twitch. It can't not be good for Twitch, because right now the competing market has shrunk, and they are, and not only has it shrunk, but they are absorbing the workforce from their competitor.
Yep. A huge
Um,
amount of eyes. A
yes.
huge amount of eyes. It's insane.
And so right now, Twitch is going to be in this tightrope walk of trying to not fuck up and avoid any controversy on their part.
It's already
Because,
happening.
right, it's already happening. It's already happening. But like, from a financial standpoint, this is great, because more people migrating over means more viewers come over. More viewers come over means more pre-roll ad viewership. That means more pennies in people's pockets. That means that, as long as they have the infrastructure to accommodate the streamers, because again, we're also talking like server space. We're talking like, Twitch just can't double its size overnight without also having to spend money on itself, because you can't just add a huge influx of streamers without needing to make sure that there's space to store their VODs, to store their clips, to manage the buffering for like all of their content. It's going to cost Twitch money as a result, even though they're going to gain money. I think in terms of like industry clout, they've only gained. Like they've only improved in that regard. I'd be really interested if there was like a shareholders call or something to be in on it, to see how much money they are bringing in versus how much money they are also expending to maintain this new influx of content creators, because it's not without a cost. But the shitty silver lining take, because again, I hate to say it, but I think this is good for Twitch. It's also good for anyone who's already on Twitch.
Yeah.
Because it just, again, is another piece of cement in the foundation, and will only make the platform stronger financially, which then also means that people who are already here are less, knock on wood, less likely to be in a situation as the Mixer partners and Mixer affiliates were when they did dirty by Mixer.
Yeah.
And that is a bad take, but an honest one. And I hate feeling that, but like, yeah.
No,
I don't
you
know.
are correct, because if you look at the state that the world was in just a week ago with all the Me Too movements, the Black Lives Matter, everyone wants to try and stand together. And even though it was a hugely shitty thing that Mixer did, I personally don't think it was a bad time to happen in respect for the actual partners. Now, if you look at everything that happened with them, you know, they obviously didn't know what was going on. They lost the communities, essentially, all that kind of stuff. But there is a huge amount of people that have went, come here, like, I am gonna welcome you and I am gonna support you. Like Harris Heller done a 24-hour stream where he gifted a shitload of subs to Mixer partners, and he rated them and hosted them and just like kept the spirits up and supported the shit out of them. Can you imagine us being in that kind of position 6 months ago? Because I don't think it would have happened. I think there would have been a lot more backlash. People are very me, and you know, this is my Twitch and go away. Whereas now we're all more in the mindset of we need to support each other.
Being
There's
Sense of
inclusive.
charitability.
Yep. And it's a shit thing that happened, but I personally think that if it happened any other time, they wouldn't have been more successful. And
Yeah.
I agree with that because I mean, especially like you said, like with everything that's been going on lately, I think a big focus on specifically with people we know on Twitch and just Twitch in general and social media in general is a sense of we are a community and we should act as such.
Yep.
And with new people coming in, instead of saying, "Get your own shit, this is our thing." No. We're a community. Welcome. Let's do this together, type of thing.
That's the best way to do it.
Kumbaya and all that stuff.
Yeah. I guess I just want to kind of, look at this in another way and say, like, what did we kind of learn from this whole thing? Because, I mean, a year ago, there was discussion of, well, I'm a brand new streamer. Should I start on Twitch? Should I start on Mixer? Twitch is, more established, but it's going to be more difficult to grow. Mixer might be easier to grow. What lessons can we take away from this moving forward, do you think?
from a streamer or just as a
As a
part of
streamer,
this community?
if you're a streamer, and we're not talking 1,000 viewers, 10,000 viewers, you're a sort of growing
10.
streamer. Yeah, right. what can we learn from this?
In my personal opinion, never trust the community. Always research the company, because even like it must have been 3 or 4 hours before that Mixer tweet came out. There was somebody in the Mixer community that was a diehard person, and no matter what, Mixer would be around until the end of time. And you believed them. You thought, I believe you. And then look what happens. In my opinion, research the company's values moving forward, and then make that your basis on moving forward. I'm very business orientated just because of my background and my work, but you have to find somewhere where you're gonna fit in, and you actually think there is a huge amount of longevity for you in that kind of business model, that space. Don't just go where everyone is, because I mean, look at King Gothalion. He decided not to come back to somewhere where he's hugely established, and he decided to go somewhere where not a lot of people go there. And right now, people in his community decided, I'm not going to support you because you're going somewhere else, and I don't really fancy going there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be a very interesting space over the next 5 to 10 years, because the amount of established people like Ninja and Shroud who have literally just made, if the reports are true, 30 million in less than a year for doing what they were already doing.
It's enough to make you sick.
I mean, I'm happy for them. I wish it was me.
Did any of you catch the clip of Tim the Tam Man reacting to that?
No.
Where
he was just
someone
like,
says, "Are you regretting the not moving to Mixer?" And he just kind of looks in the camera for a while, and he's just like, that's kind of that's that.
There was a donation message, and it basically read like, "Oh, are the talks still on Mixer? Like, are you regretting moving over to them?" And he just kind of slumped in his chair, and he was just like, Thanks for your donation, Dick.
Yeah, I mean, after the whole thing got announced, I mean, I think Summit was immediately tweeting like, "Stop smiling so much,
Yeah.
Ninja and
Yeah.
Shroud."
That's my-
Yep.
I mean, because that kind of money. I mean, people were like, "Oh, where are they gonna go? Where are they gonna go?" They don't have to go anywhere.
They
Exactly.
could just retire.
They could just chill, man, and just like, I don't know, just do whatever they want.
Yeah.
I mean,
They could go to Turks and Caicos for like a year and just fucking chill. Like they're fine.
Like, we're streaming on MySpace now just to fuck around.
Oh,
mean,
we
100%.
rebooted Friendster and we're gonna
Yeah.
start Friendster gaming.
it was reported that Shroud would make roughly around about $1.8 million per year on streaming, not including donations and bits, right? So if you look at it on that kind of respect, and if 10 million is the correct number, potentially for the next 5 to however many years he really wants to stretch that money out, he doesn't need to stream anymore. But we know he will because he fucking loves it.
Yeah.
So he's literally taken that pocket of cash and went, I'm gonna put this here for a minute. Let me buy a mansion later on. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. And can you imagine the influx of people that will support him when he comes back?
The hype is going to be insane when he comes
Yeah.
back.
I think for me, like looking at all this and my takeaway to address your question, Condi, is I feel like I connect strongly with the comment made in chat by the Terp. Diversify where you have content. It's a thing that I'm not doing enough of right now, and it's a thing that I should be doing. And I think honestly, it's a smart thing. I mean, if you think about you know people who are investing their retirement and putting it into like say the stock market, they're putting it into like a blue chip fund. They're putting it into a mutual fund, which is basically somebody else saying, "Hey, we're going to take care of your money for you, and we're going to spread it around through some of the best, 500 companies on the New York Stock Exchange, and you're going to see probably this expected return on it over time." Because honestly, that is the smarter thing to do than be like, "Oh, I heard about a new company, and I'm going to throw all my money in it." Like, if you I don't know what that voice is or who they are, but if you
Prospector Grog right there.
Getting
yeah.
wrestling flashbacks.
But if you put all your eggs in one basket, I mean, to borrow a really tired expression, like you're risking a lot. One stumble and it can all come apart. And I think that having a foothold in a few different platforms and leaning into their strengths. Obviously, YouTube is about asynchronous content. It's about putting stuff out there that is meant to be watched, not in real time, ideally, because the bulk of the platform is you have a channel, you have subscribers that are going to be notified when you upload a new video, and they're going to digest it when they want to. Having that there to satiate people when you're not streaming is perfect. It makes sense. Like, that's a way to diversify. And if Twitch went to shit tomorrow and YouTube doesn't, then you have something to fall back on.
Yep.
There's plenty of routes that people could explore to just, I don't know, keep their hand in the industry while still mainlining one platform, but at least having enough contacts that you leave yourself the opening for later. I don't know. I think the fact that anything can go away at any time is very real, and it's a thing we don't like to think about. We don't like to think about it when we cross the street or when we buckle up into a car, but I mean, like, everything can go away in the blink of an eye, not just with your job. And it's difficult to plan for that because how can you?
Yeah.
I mean, no one, if you had polled every single person who was streaming for Mixer and said, "Do you think Mixer is going to disappear by the end of the month?" people would have probably laughed. Most people probably would say, "Why?" Like, based on my experience in the last month or based on my metrics for the last year, like, things are going great, and like I'm seeing growth in my community. Like, for some people, if you asked them that question, it wouldn't have made any sense, because from their perspective as an individual content creator, they may have seen their numbers go up last month. They may have seen more donations, more embers, contributed to their channel. They may have had a banner month. It could have been their best month ever. And then you say, well, it's going to disappear. Like, the whole platform is going to be gone in 2 weeks. And they'd be like, Really? No, why? Like, they wouldn't have any reason to believe that. Twitch could do the same tomorrow. Jeff Bezos could just say, fuck it, we're gonna collapse that side of Amazon, and it's just not worth our investment.
100%.
That would be bizarre. But I mean, like,
It's possible.
It's possible, but also I somehow don't see it happening, because at least my take on Jeff Bezos and Amazon is they like to
Money.
They like to make money, yes. But they're also about investments.
Reputation. Yeah.
They like reputation investments. Jeff Bezos bought the Washington Post. That was a big deal when it happened. And that is not a deal that was no small thing. Washington Post is an incredibly reputable news organization. They are up there with the New York Times, and they have a long history of journalism. And if they also just went under overnight, that would be disastrous for, like, a big swath of contemporary American journalism. And I don't think it will happen, because, again, he wouldn't have bought the company if he saw that as a potential. I think that Amazon likes to reinvest in itself over and over again. And it's my understanding that one of the things they do, even though they make money hand over fist, is that they do reinvest back into the company, and they expand, and it means that they become this, like, all-encompassing octopus that just has its tentacles and everything. But at the same time, they just keep reinvesting in their foundation over and over and over again. I personally don't think that Twitch is going to go under tomorrow or next year or 5 years, but it could.
Yeah.
And even though your gut tells you one thing, reality is that everything could disappear tomorrow. I mean, fucking Yellowstone could erupt and we're all dead. Like, who fucking knows?
Hey, there's a supernova out there somewhere that's going to wipe out a large chunk of the galaxy at some point. Just
Yeah.
make the most of
Planet
it.
X. Planet X is going to be here by
Oh
2040.
my god, right.
Oh,
Well,
It's happening.
I
the Mayans got the year wrong.
As long as Cyberpunk comes by November, I'm fine.
I don't even care. I don't even care. I just want Cyberpunk.
I totally agree, and I think the thing to take away is that nobody is immune to this. I mean, Microsoft, you would have assumed, has the money to just keep Mixer going as long as they want. They made the decision.
That was strange.
I mean,
and
there is talks that they did keep it going for a lot longer than it should have because of the investment from that sister company.
they
if you wanna
tried to
call it
they
that.
tried to buy community. That's what they did. They bought these big streamers in the hopes that would bring over plenty of eyes and make their return on their
But
investment.
It did, but it didn't work the way that they wanted it to, because a large amount of Ninja and Shroud's following came over. They did see that initial influx, and then it just kind of plateaued.
Oh yeah,
from
they
there.
are running a high squad, S tier squad of statisticians and analytics, and they're crunching and running numbers all day, every day.
Yeah.
And if they came to this decision, it was because they're like, the leg is cut off, it's bleeding, or it's damaged, necrosis has reached, we just need to cut it off. The way they did it was absolute garbage, as we've discussed.
Yeah.
Absolute garbage.
No bedside manner at all.
None whatsoever. They're like, sorry,
We're
bud,
gonna
and
let
they
your
just
gran go
walked
today,
out.
and then they just unplug the cord from the
Doctor was
wall.
just like,
Oh, by the
"Peace
way, we
out."
did that this morning.
No.
Sorry, we forgot to tell you we were letting gran go.
Yeah. But I think the important thing, as we mentioned, is really to, be aware, because a lot of streamers and a lot of these like Twitch, coach help things have always kind of, in my experience, been saying maybe it's good to be on a new platform, because if that platform blows up and you're one of the original people on there, you could be in a really good position. But you have to weigh that against what happens if you do grow and the platform disappears, right? Make content for other platforms. It's one of the reasons I've focused so hard on YouTube over the last few months, because that way, if Twitch does go away tomorrow, I have some semblance of an audience on YouTube that I can focus my energy into in the meantime, right? I'm not left with nothing, right? I think that's very, very important. And it doesn't have to be YouTube. It could be, in Discord. It could be in Twitter, just making sure that you're diversifying outside of Twitch. Again, as Grog said, don't put all your eggs in one basket. This has shown us that basket can disappear, right? With
Making me hungry.
with next to no notice. I know. Unless we have anything else to say on that, I want to briefly touch on the next topic, and then we did have some questions in chat I want to kind of quick fire through.
There was one quote by Blink 182 that I want to just kind of back up there. I don't know if people in chat know what this is.
What's my age
So-
again?
Blink,
All the small
Blink,
things, I don't understand how that relates.
Hello there.
Blink 182. Fuck Mixer. I think there's a lot of people that associate with that quote now.
Oh, yeah, when they played at
said that
TwitchCon?
on TwitchCon, and everybody was in uproar. And now the amount of times that I fucking see that from Mixer people, it warms my heart because they are like, "Fuck you, Mixer."
Yeah, for sure. So, speaking of all the conspiracy theories and stuff, you've probably heard that Dr. Disrespect has been banned on Twitch. Dr.
What?
Disrespect,
When?
Permanently.
if you don't know, one of the absolute biggest streamers on the platform, both in terms of viewership, sub count, all those sorts of things, has been banned. It seems like, yes, it's permanent. A lot of conspiracy theories are flooding the internet right now. We don't have an official set answer yet, but I just wanted to briefly talk about our thoughts on it.
The only concrete thing that anyone has at all about anything is he's gone, it's permanent, and he's tweeted that he is claiming he doesn't know what it's about, and that's it. And Twitch has also tweeted, or actually they issued a statement via their website that they said that he violated terms of service as per a contract that he had.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't go into what the terms of service was. It doesn't state whether it was a terms of service specific to partners or affiliates or any, like if it was something that encompassed everybody on the platform. But he had a breach of contract, and something within that contract is why he is no longer on the platform, and that's it. But all the talk of like these secret platforms that might have existed, or people he might have cheated with, like none of this is substantiated. Like none of it. A lot of it is interesting, makes for good commentary, but I mean, basically the only thing we know is we know nothing.
And the thing is that because like two conspiracies, one of them being some sort of revolving around the person he cheated around. So, and I think most, at least all of us, are hoping that's not the case, because that would be A, super shitty, and B, could mean a lot. Because so so we have that one, and then we have another big one is him, Shroud and Ninja are making their own streaming service or something, partnering with Google/Spotify, something or whatever.
Yeah.
What is it called? Brine,
and that
whatever.
theory came out of a post on 4chan of all fucking places.
Right.
So,
So,
take that for what it is.
With the huge bucket of salt. So I mean, it's like, but those are the two ones I think, and both of those are from supposed Twitch insiders,
members, staff members.
So it's like they couldn't be on more opposite side of the spectrums in terms of like these are the reasons why. So like it just leaves up everybody for like, oh shit. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's very difficult. I personally have been someone that's watched the doc for a long time and kind of look up to the way he runs his streams. I mean, his production value on Twitch is insane, and I was of the opinion that the longer we go without hearing anything, the worse it's going to be. And I really hope from the bottom of my heart it's nothing terrible, but the fact that we still don't know. If it was a small thing, we would know by now. But there is a lot of people just kind of poking at it and doing really vague tweets, and we have no idea because right now the internet is ravenous for information, so people can make these tweets and just get a lot of eyes on their tweet. It's
and the thing,
two comments
the thing
down
is,
to be like, oh hey, by the way, you can follow me on my channel. Like that's how they all are.
And it's amplified in part too because of events that have happened in the last 2 weeks with people like Actabunny Fufu being banned, and like Lono Say No to Rage being banned. Like there are people who, because of their sexual misconduct, are being stripped of their platform. There's already, I mean, effectively from a news perspective, blood is already in the water, right? Like there is already a lot of juicy material for people to just recycle over and over and over and pull apart and that stuff needed to happen. But like now, like we've got a big bit of drama, a huge chunk of juicy drama, and there's no information, and people are fucking losing their minds, like refreshing
Yep.
Twitter like
I did it.
constantly.
Me too.
Um,
I couldn't.
it's I mean, at least like when things were happening a couple weeks ago, you'd hear someone come out and speak about it, and then somebody else would corroborate, and other people would say like, yeah, we were aware of these things that happened at GuardianCon, like, but because of the parties involved, they didn't want to share it at the time. We didn't either, and all these things are bubbling up to the surface. For this, the only thing that's bubbling up to the surface is theory. There's no one saying with complete and total affirmation, like, yes, this is what it was. All of them are so far whisper down the lane. Well, I've heard from a source, or I've heard from an insider. When we had streamers, both men and women, opening up about the sexual abuse and misconduct that was happening towards them over decades within the gaming industry, they weren't saying, "Oh, from a source." They were saying, "This happened to me."
Yeah.
This happened to someone I know. You had people saying like, I distance myself from this person because of events that happened several years ago that I didn't divulge at the time, and I apologize for that. Like, we're not hearing that now. We're hearing, I heard from somebody. I know a guy or a gal, and it's like,
I can't talk about it. I can't say why, but I know.
Yeah.
Follow my Twitter, so when I do maybe say, but probably won't because I don't know. You'll find out.
Yeah.
With everything that's going on in the world, and like obviously Doc is a cornerstone in this industry. Arguably he like paved the way for a lot of streamers. He has basically put streaming on the map. He's going to be making a TV show. He's repped by a company, I forget the name, but they rep huge names like George Clooney. He's massive, and the fact that a lot of people are using this as a way to get their Twitter engagement up and get followers and all that kind of stuff, with everything going around the world, where we've already talked about, we have to stick together and not be shitty humans. My hot take, if you don't know, shut the fuck up. It's like, stop adding fuel to the fire. Stop being a shitty person if you don't know, and just let it come from somebody who is actually going to spit facts.
Yeah,
exactly. Or somebody who knows. It's like, stop being a shitty human and just leave it alone and let it come out naturally.
Yeah.
Like, that's my hot take anyway. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I see way too many, like, with everything that's been going on lately, and every horrible story that's been coming out, and people just lying about shit as well. It discredits a lot of genuine interactions that happening on these platforms, and when shit like that goes on, it ruins the progress that everyone's made. It drives me nuts, as you can probably tell.
Yeah, I think, I mean, obviously, here's the thing. It's don't believe everything that you're reading. There's a lot of wild conspiracy theories out there. And unfortunately, like Cyber's saying, it's being perpetuated by some of these larger people on social media that are, pushing this narrative because it's a big mystery. It's a game. It's not a game, right? Something's obviously happened. We don't know what it is. We can't pass any judgment until we know what it is. And I just kind of wanted to address it because it felt weird if we didn't even talk about it. In terms of Twitch.
As Suki Su pointed out in chat, we don't even know like the extent to what it is. Like, I mean, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, there's got to be some sort of sexual misconduct." We don't know that. He could have just broke his contract with Twitch by like signing an endorsement deal with someone. You know what I mean? Like, we have no idea. It could be something really fucking boring.
Taxes.
It doesn't have to be. Taxes. It doesn't have to be salacious. I mean, I think that's where a lot of people's minds are going, but it doesn't. It need not be like horrible and nefarious. Could be really fucking dull.
Yeah.
But
yeah, well, like a long window of silence like this, and so much, just everything being like silent across the board. Like, my mind immediately goes to something just contractual. Like, I know there's a lot going on that could be exciting, but yeah, as you say, it could very likely just be he broke this term of this contract or this of that.
Yeah.
And especially for the partner streamers, when you get into all of these like minutiae, where they know the inner workings of Twitch better than most streamers do. Twitch works more intimately with them. there can be these little things that will just be like, that's the end of the contract. That's it, done.
If you look very closely at the definition that Twitch put out, it said he broke terms of service on X, right? And when you research the agreement that they're actually referencing, nowhere in there is like this like if you're accused of sexual assault or misconduct, you're gonna be banned from the platform. People jump to conclusions way too fucking quickly, and like Grog says, it could be something as simple as he played something on his stream that he shouldn't have, he signed something that he shouldn't have, or he's now potentially entering into a business venture that Twitch says no, you can't fucking do that.
Well,
No, it could be as small as that.
especially because he's signed this exclusivity deal with Twitch just very recently, as a lot of streamers, as Pokimane, as Tim the Tatman, you know, as all these big streamers did. It could be something in that new contract that's breached somewhere. You know, we don't know, but there's a lot of dramatics happening, and I think Twitch know that because something as big as the dog being banned isn't going to go unnoticed. But we just have to wait and see, you know, and I would just encourage anybody listening to not buy into everything you read on Twitter, because I would bet that a lot of it will
Cyber's
be...
going to come to your house and fuck you up.
I would bet that a lot of it will be made to seem a lot more extravagant and, you know, crazy than it may end up being. But we just have to wait and see what happens. And we can't make any judgments till then.
Yeah, putting like personal feelings aside, it's going to be a huge bombshell, whatever it is, because ultimately he is in the mainstream now. He is being reported on by a lot of like huge outlets. CNN even put something out recently about like obviously his huge following is now being banned.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be interesting to see how that directly affects us moving forward, because we've seen adpocalypses before on YouTube. Luckily enough, nothing has came to Twitch, but one of the huge successes of Twitch is ads. You know, that makes them a shitload of money. And if you have a scandal as big as this, that has the potential to be following into this Me Too movement, I am terrified on how that's going to affect every other streamer on this platform.
Yeah.
It's going to have huge repercussions, depending on what it is. And reserve judgment until the facts come out. Don't try and follow the rabbit hole down Twitter and see all the wild conspiracy theories. Like somebody made a Dr. Disrespect's profile on one of these like lower end streaming platforms, and it's like, oh my god, he's going here, and it's like, no, just somebody fucking made a profile.
There's
like
a
just
lot of trolls like out there just baiting for reaction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But anyway, on that point, we have a couple of quick questions from chat I want to kind of run through before we finish up here. The first one was from Aurelian, or as we know her as Wolfie. She was asking for each of us, do we tell people in real life that we stream, or is it still an awkward conversation to have? What's your guys' thoughts?
I personally wear that badge as a fucking pride of honor. You know, like I pump hours into my streaming, and it's something that I'm not ashamed is probably the wrong words, but I like if somebody says, "Oh, what you up to?" I'll be like, "Oh, I'm streaming." And when they say, "What the fuck is streaming?" I take huge pride in actually educating them, and then I would say 99% of the time they're like, "That's pretty fucking cool." Like I might actually tune in and watch you once. You know, it's not my thing, but hey, I'll stop by or show me something that you've actually done. There is a lot of kind of, you stream like fucking nerd. You know, there's a lot of boomers out there that don't appreciate the actual internet sensation that they have in front of them. You know, these fuckers that type with one finger at a time.
Hey.
I mean, come on, it's a fact.
Why would you watch someone else play video games when you could just play them yourself?
Oh my god, the whole football fiasco. Why do you watch people playing football when you could fucking play it yourself? You know,
that's not the same.
I think for me, it totally depends on who I'm talking to. So like a friend of mine yesterday I was talking to, and you know, I was explaining like, you know, what I've been up to with the downtime with self-isolation and quarantine and all that stuff. And I said it for me, it's been a fantastic opportunity to pursue streaming, to see what it would look like full time. And they were like wanted to know more about it, and they were excited to hear about it, and I was excited to talk about it. And then counterpoint that with I tweeted this the other day after Father's Day, but I'll be 37 the end of this year, and my dad asked me last December, this past Christmas, if I had any hobbies. Like any hobbies, like not specifically pertaining to games. Like there was a quiet time in the room. We were both sitting like by the fireplace, and he was like, I never really asked. Do you have any hobbies? My dad is 78. I'm almost 40, and he just asked me if I had hobbies. Like I can't tell him that I'm like into streaming, because I will fucking break his brain trying to explain what the internet is, much less like what streaming is. So I think depending on who I'm talking to, sometimes I'm really proud to be like, yeah, like I'm into this thing, and other times I'm like, nah, I'm a librarian.
Not even.
It's fine.
Sometimes it's not even worth it. I mean, because like for me, I have like where I live and kind of people who I hang out. There's only like really a few people that like are my age or around my age that play games, understand Twitch, or understand streaming. So I don't really have to like explain to them how it works or why it works or why I do it or whatever. But like the people at the industry I work with, they're all old. I was the first person when I got hired at my job. I was the first person they hired in like years, and 90% of the people I work with are retirement age or getting to retirement. One finger typers, everybody. And so when it's like, I'm like, they found out that someone told them, I was like, oh, this is Josh streaming or something like that. And they're like, why? Why do you stream it? Why you people watch you play video games?
Yeah.
Yep, that's why they're there. They're there just to watch me play video games. That's it. That's the only reason. Yep, you're absolutely right. Like it's not even worth my time. Oh God, my mother-in-law. Oh my gosh. I don't even want every conversation. She just doesn't get it. She does not get it at all. And she's just like, oh, you've been playing your video games again? Yes, Pam. I play my video games less time than you're on your phone. So how about you stop judging and leave me the fuck alone?
Yeah.
And the irony too is that like there's more with smartphones and tablets being so ubiquitous now. There are more people in our society worldwide gaming than ever before. People are gaming all the time, but there's still a disconnect between playing a mobile app, and obviously I'm not equating to like Candy Crush to say Destiny or like Farmville to like a Final Fantasy. Like obviously they're not the same. They're not even in the same wheelhouse or the same atmosphere, but people are gaming. More people are gaming than ever before, and it does sometimes feel strange to not be comfortable fully having those conversations with people, or when you get pushback and they're like, so you're doing that's what you're doing? Weird. And it's just like, yo, you've been fucking playing Candy Crush all day on your subway ride to work. Like, it's not weird. It's just you're doing it in a communal atmosphere. I think that for a lot of people, there just isn't historical precedent for it unless you're of a certain generation. And it really kind of boils down to that. I think to anyone in their 20s or under, it probably seems pretty normal. I would imagine that for people in the 30s and 40s, it's kind of like, oh yeah, okay, cool. And then like beyond that, it might be harder to explain. But I mean, even our parents, are playing games, whether they realize it or not.
Oh, actually, it's funny. So like my nephews, they're old. They're like 10 plus, around the kind of that age frame, and so they play a lot of Minecraft. And they'll watch people play Minecraft. And my mom told them, they're like, oh, your Uncle Josh, he streams. We're like, oh, what kind of games he plays? Oh, he plays like shooter games. And so my mom, she follows me on Twitter. And on Twitch.
That's me.
And Cyber, she thinks Cyber's cute. She's like, oh, he's cute, and then follows him. Anywho, she knows. So she got to go.
This is what we talk about when we say diversify your platforms.
Yeah.
It's not about moving to Twitch or Facebook or YouTube. Like sometimes you just gotta get in good with somebody's,
mom.
mom. I mean, does she have a pool that needs cleaning? You know, like.
Oh my god. Anyway, and she gets a live. She told me a story. She's like, yeah, so I got this live notification, that you were live, and she told my nephew, she's like, hey, Josh is live. You want to check him out? And he was like, oh yeah, yeah. And so they get on the laptop and they pull me up. It was like the beginning of the stream, so like it was just kind of like that just chatting type thing. And she said it was like 30 seconds, and he's like, he's just talking. I'm done.
Yeah.
Isn't he gonna dance more?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of.
She did have to warn him. She's like, your Uncle Josh, he says a lot of bad words.
I'm kind of in the same
That's why you've
boat.
got the-
Like,
Yeah, I know.
I'm in the same boat as like yourself, Humps, where like most of the people I work with generally don't seem to get it, and I don't want to get into it and try and explain what it is. And I'm sure like my wife is sick of hearing about Twitch and everything like that. Which is one of the reasons I want to do.
What do you mean?
I know, right? But like she has to hear about it all the time, right? Like all the time. That's one of the reasons I wanted to do this whole podcast, is because we can sit and openly talk about Twitch and the things that we do and what we find interesting. And we're doing it on Twitch, so people can relate and everyone knows what we're talking about. And it's one of the highlights of my week, being able to get on here and talk about these kind of things, because I don't get to talk about it as much in real life. If I was a football guy, I could go to work and talk about football all day. I don't get to do that with my hobby as much, because people
Arsenal,
don't
they really walk it in.
Yeah, did you see that shocking display last night? Like it's a hobby, but it's, I think nowadays much more widespread. But I mean, even like people ask, because I'll sometimes say at work, like, oh yeah, like I'm busy tonight. Like, what are you doing? Oh, like, oh, I'm streaming. And they're like, what's that? I'm like, well, have you heard of Ninja? And they're like, nope. And I'm like, well, there's no point then. Let's just move on. Like, because I feel like that whole thing did blow up to the mainstream a lot more, and a lot of people do know about Ninja. I had a dude from a job I used to have years ago. And this is kind of funny. I literally got a message off from yesterday. Not spoken to him in a long time. And the message just said, hey man, I heard your pal Dr. Disrespect got banned. What's that all about? And I was like, he remembers that we had this conversation. And like, he's an older guy, doesn't really understand Twitch, but he remembers Dr. Disrespect, and he saw a headline and he messaged me. And I think that's awesome. But it is a kind of a weird subject to some people, but no, I'm very proud of it. And the people that do understand, being able to have a conversation about it is, honestly, it's like anyone, people love talking about their hobbies.
It's funny how some people like get one takeaway and that's the thing that they remember about you.
Yeah,
like there's a dude who I know, who lives in Philly. He's a fucking great guy, but he's such a weird guy on top of that. But I only see him, he's a friend of a friend, and I see him at social functions sometimes. And like, he always asks me the same question because he only remembers one thing about me. So like, I work at a library, and I used to run a D&D weekly like role play group for kids at the library. And so he, for years, would be like, yo, what's up? Like, and this is exactly how he talks. He's like, yo, what's up? How's the role playing going? And I'm like, oh, it's going pretty good, OB. And he's like, cool. And then he would just kind of stare at me. And he's like, you role play anything recently? Like he doesn't care. I mean, he's like being very polite and like trying to create small talk, but like he just remembers the one thing about me. And I think that's really funny, Connie, that like you and Dr. Disrespect, if he only remembered one thing about you, it's that your buddies at Dr.
I just think it's fantastic, because I think I used Dr. Disrespect to explain Twitch a little bit. I like, look at this. Yeah. This is like kind of what people do, right? I don't know. I just thought it was really, really funny. The other topic, last question we've got, which we can just quickly blast through, is somebody asked, do we think the whole Mixer shutdown situation is going to affect Microsoft in terms of sales with the new Xbox? Because of obviously the link between Microsoft and Mixer, do we think that's going to have any impact on that?
The word on the street is one of the reasons why Mixer shut down was because they didn't want to promote the new system that they had on Mixer, knowing the limited amount of eyes that would be on it. So they saw Mixer, if they invested in this new console and put it on that platform, it would not do very well. So obviously you need to kind of take away from that and think, is that the main reason why it shut down? Because Mixer as a whole was kind of a console platform. You know, there was a lot of Xbox players. There was an integration where you could stream directly through your Xbox onto Mixer. If you went onto the Xbox homepage, Mixer was there. You know, it was a huge thing. Like just reading Terp's question, sorry. I think it will, in the terms of, would you, as a Mixer streamer, buy their products? I know it's not Mixer, it's Microsoft, knowing what they've done in the past. Like, something in the back of my mind, if a company kind of tarnished their name and they brought out a new product, I would be like, that. I mean, I might buy it later on in the line, but there would be a kind of something in my head that would necessarily instantly do it if I was a Mixer partner. You know, there's a new Xbox. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna promote the shit out of it. Shit, they just closed the doors. I might not get it now. You know?
Agreed.
Well, and I think Wolfie made an interesting point too, which is she said Xbox is going to be harder to stream from unless they incorporate Twitch, because Mixer, you know, was heavily intertwined with Xbox. So it's like, are they gonna have what will that even look like in the fall and the winter when these consoles come out? Will there be a broadcast option? And if so, like, are they intentionally gonna avoid having Twitch integration? Would they do YouTube integration instead? Like,
I don't think they have to, because now
They-
that
I mean, they
not,
certainly don't
they're
have
not
to.
a competitor anymore.
yeah,
They're not competing against Twitch. So if they have nothing going against Twitch, I don't see why Twitch is like, yeah, we'll run some ads. Like, I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
I think it was.
oh, I don't think
it's-
Twitch would care, but would
No, not at all.
Microsoft care? No.
No, I don't think it's going to hurt Microsoft sales and Xbox sales at all. Really, I
No.
mean, for as small as Mixer was, I mean, that is a you know, some Condi level of advertisement. You know what I mean?
Go
Very
on.
small amount.
All right, so that was the podcast. Thank you so much for coming back.
I wondered where you were going. I was getting like closer to my seat, and then I picked it up, and I was like, oh.
As usual, Condi cuts it short. That's
I agree. I think Ginger mentioned it in chat here as well that, you know, most off the street Xbox consumers probably don't know about Mixer, and therefore probably wouldn't have an impact.
It is thrown in their faces every single time that they log on. Like,
yeah, but that doesn't mean they know what it is.
And it doesn't mean that they're a consumer of the content on Mixer. You know,
No,
just
true.
because it's there and then suddenly it's not there, is that going to
this
have
ain't FIFA?
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta think that just the sheer amount of people that own Xboxes, or just game in general, the higher percentage of all gaming communities are sitting on your couch playing video games. It is
Exactly.
not in the streaming world. There is, for as big as streaming is, it is way bigger just to chill on your couch and play some games. None of them give two shits what's going on. They have no idea what Mixer did or does. They may or may not know who Ninja and Dr. Disrespect are. They're playing Last of Us Part 2 on their couch. That's what they're doing. So their numbers aren't going to be
Not if they're
affected
Xbox users.
at all. Oh, yeah.
yeah, an amazing argument until that last bit. I was just
pick an Xbox exclusive. I don't know. I don't have an Xbox. Halo. there you
Here's
go.
a war.
But yeah, I
It's on
think the
PC
reality
too.
was that, like, Microsoft were propping up, like, there was all the talk as well when Shroud and Ninja went over, especially Ninja, about like the next Halo release and the next Xbox release and all of that. Like, they're going to use that to push up Mixer. I always felt like they were always trying to right the scales where they were maybe hoping that Xbox's popularity would lift Mixer up. I think the loss of Mixer is definitely not going to do any harm to how Xbox will do overall.
Yep, agreed.
Good point.
And then we had one final question, which I think we can answer fairly quickly, which was regarding YouTube streaming. And, you know, I guess there's like a there's an understanding or a thought that YouTube have this great power, and if they were to kind of really focus hard on live streaming, then they may be a force to be reckoned with in the streaming world. What's our kind of thoughts on that? Do we agree, disagree?
I agree and disagree at the same time. It's heavily impacted on the way that the world works, like right now. If you look at the controversies that are surrounding Twitch, surrounding Dr. Disrespect's silence on his ban, if a platform rises up and holds Twitch accountable and doesn't like the response that they get, you could potentially have a mass exodus of a large part of the community. But it's also heavily impacted on, whatever. I don't want to go to YouTube.
That's I think part of what Twitch is gonna hedge its bets on, if it should ever come to that. I'm not saying Twitch will be so bold, but as to say it openly, but I think they're gonna hedge their bets on the fact that where will people go? Where will we go?
Yeah.
You could be outraged by something, but like, if you pull out, where are you going? Are you gonna go to Facebook? I'm not saying that they would be so flippant as to make that their attitude, but I mean, like, that's one way to look at it.
Exactly.
Because like, even if they're trying their very best and they're doing it with some amount of stoicism, and they're trying but fucking up in some way, and then people are unhappy, where will people go? I mean, people already don't want to go to a platform. Facebook gaming is not where people want to be. And like, viewers and streamers have been like vocal about that. So YouTube, I mean, you could go to YouTube, but it's a whole different kind of atmosphere. I think right now, again, that's why I was thinking earlier in the podcast, like, this is the best thing that could happen to Twitch, because it will probably also help them weather any sort of storm that they hit in the future. Because yeah, something bad could come out, something bad could happen. We could hear that there was like an all hands call that was recorded with like shareholders or staff or something, and somebody said something fucked up. But like, let's say that happens, where will you go?
Yeah.
There just isn't. There's a finite number of platforms right now, and some of these like small micro platforms, you could continue it as a hobby, but you're not going to continue financially as a career streaming on those platforms. So like, your choices are limited, and I think they know that. And I'm not going to suggest that they would be haughty about it, like, oh, go on, find another platform, fucker. Like, they're not. That's not going to be their attitude. But I mean, that's kind of a reality right now.
Yeah. I think YouTube holds a tremendous amount of power because they have so many eyes, and YouTube is so unbelievably diverse. You can find almost any small niche community on YouTube, whether that's into IRL side of things, art, music, video games, everything. And if they were to, I mean, personally, I'm not a fan of the YouTube streaming. The only stream that ever pops up on mine is like PewDiePie, because I subscribe to him for his videos, but I don't ever click on his live streams personally. I go to YouTube for on-demand video content, and I use it for an obscene amount of hours a day watching YouTube content, right? I love it. If they really did focus hard on the streaming thing, I think they could be a force to be reckoned with, because they already have such a huge amount of eyes. And, you know, one of the strengths of Twitch is that it's got all these different communities. It's got a creative section, and it's got IRL, and it's got art, and it's got music, and it has all these different little niche areas. But so does YouTube, and I would guess that YouTube has those communities in larger numbers. And if they really doubled down on the streaming side of it, they could probably compete with Twitch. I mean, we've seen Twitch try to bring on-demand video into the Twitch sphere, right? They brought in VOD content. They wanted you to upload videos to Twitch. Nobody did it, so they scrapped it, right? But that was their attempt of getting into that. I don't think anyone can ever really rival YouTube in terms of on-demand video content the way that YouTube have it. They have no competitors, as far as I'm aware, right? And I don't know, with some tweaks and some of that Google money.
Well, there's one thing that I think would put them very closely behind Twitch, and that's the user experience.
Mhm.
If they could change the UI to be very similar to a lot of Twitch's content, you went there and things were familiar, things were easy to find. The user experience, whether you were typing or just watching, was a lot easier than what it is right now. Things that feel familiar usually have a better like process of you accepting things. So if YouTube fixes just a small tweak to the UI, I think that would migrate a lot of people to at least taking one chance, one opportunity to check it out.
Not miss the chance
Right.
to blow.
Mom
Right?
spaghetti.
And I was actually singing in my head as I was saying that. I was like, don't say the next verse. All it takes is one person to go, I'm gonna check this out once. And if they like it, you've got those two things on the balance. You've got, I know Twitch, but I kind of like what YouTube's doing right now. I might check out one stream like every month or whatever. Let's say PewDiePie does a charity thing. I'm gonna watch him on YouTube. And then that one viewer is completely taken away from Twitch.
The thing is, YouTube is a platform that everyone's familiar with anyway, already. It's more of a hard sell to go, hey, come over to Mixer if you're on Twitch. If you're not on Mixer every day, you don't know, I'm on YouTube every day. I'm familiar with the website. If Mixer was still alive right now, which it is, but
Which
right,
it is.
Ignore the fact that it's shutting down, right? If Mixer was still there and Twitch is there and Twitch disappeared, YouTube would be my next step, 100%. Without a doubt, YouTube would be my backup.
But see, that's the default because it's there. The thing is, their streaming side of things, they haven't put really any effort into streaming. They're just like,
No.
yeah, you can stream on YouTube. Here's a TOS type of thing, but that's it. And the thing is, like, these aren't just people hanging out. YouTube's not just made up of people like, oh, this might work. They've got professional people that do this for a living, doing analytics, stats and stuff, and they're figuring all this stuff out. They know if they put the money into it, they could compete with Twitch. They're probably crunching numbers and be like, is it worth the time? And if they haven't done it yet, it's not worth the time for them. It's not worth the investment of making YouTube streaming a viable competitor for Twitch. Right now, it's just like YouTube stuff. And, you can also stream on here if you want to. We'll allow it. But it's obviously because the streaming side's been around long enough. It's obviously not something that in their business plan is worth the effort and finances to make it better.
This is the state of Mixer right now.
Is that on the front page of Mixer?
Yep. Moving to Twitch. Moving to Twitch. A blank screen.
Are they just running 24-hour streams with their Twitch link? That makes a lot of sense.
That's exactly what they're doing right now.
That makes a ton of sense. What's Mixer going to do? Nothing.
Probably don't give a
Just,
shit right
close.
now.
Follow up what Hunt was
You're no
saying,
longer a partner. Okay.
Can I just
Yeah, sorry. What were you
just
saying,
to say,
Jabba?
follow up on what Humps was saying was about YouTube like crunching the numbers. There was something at the end of last financial year where Fwiz was talking about it. Because obviously can't remember his exact position in YouTube, but he's got a major decision-making role. And as he said, he talked about the percentages of content watched on YouTube live versus on demand, and there's still like such a majorly overwhelming majority that watch on demand, and like analytics, like a slight insight into the breakdown of how people consume content and stuff like that. And I think it was a bit more reinforcement into what you were saying, Humps, where it really is just a case of YouTube is already doing so well, and so much of their audience is watching on-demand content that the way he sort of inclined about it was, and intonated about it was, we're going to keep investing in on-demand majorly, but we have seen like this percentage of growth in the live content, which I think was from something like single figures percent to maybe nearing 10% of their watch times. So he was like, if this does continue to grow, this will be something we'll look into. But
see, that's the thing. That's what they're probably waiting on. If there was a big influx of like Shroud, Ninja, Dr. Disrespect, whoever, like a bunch of big people be like, no, we're down for YouTube. That's when they're like, all right, let's dial this up. pumping the money. Let's get this thing going. That's what it would take, I think,
Yeah.
for
Absolutely,
because they're
yeah.
just waiting. Right now, they're just like gradual growth, just
Well,
here and
they're-
there. But
They're still making moves. I mean, they obviously took a contract with Courage JD. From what I understand, he's
true,
been
true.
doing very well. They just signed this exclusivity with PewDiePie, which is a no-brainer, right? He's the biggest single creator on the platform.
That was to keep him.
Yeah,
That was to keep
but
him.
he had that deal with DLive, which obviously expired, and they just signed him, to an exclusive streaming deal on YouTube. I do think it's clear that they're investing some money into it, but we'll have to wait and see how it turns out.
Mhm.
It's very
Yeah,
interesting.
like I think, as I said, a UI cleanup and more investment, and that place could really, really blow up. Like YouTube's live streaming service could really, really compete. It's just a case of, do they feel they need to fill that niche now?
Mm.
But all starting to roll. It might be interesting to see what happens with that in the next year or two, especially with things like Mixer shutting down. Maybe audiences will start to move over. More people are becoming, and as we've spoken about already, more aware of diversifying themselves. That could be a future avenue that's going to get a lot bigger.
Just to highlight something that Grog said, like Mixer shutting down can only be beneficial for every other streaming platform, and the reason why I think that's 100% accurate is in the history of streaming content, no company has forced their viewers to go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
They consumed a lot of hours on Mixer, and those hours probably won't go away. They'll just go somewhere else. If Mixer shut down, I wouldn't necessarily go, well, you know what, fuck it. I'm never gonna watch a live stream again. You
Yeah.
go, well, where are my favorite streamers going? I'm gonna follow them, and I'm gonna continue to watch that content there. It's gonna be interesting to see. Like Grog hit the nail on the head. There's going to be a huge influx of viewers and streamers on this platform. It's going to be interesting to see how Twitch can actually manage that influx. It would be interesting from a personal side to actually understand how much investment, time, and resources they'll need to put into that. It benefits everybody. It really does. It sucks that it happened. It sucks that a lot of these streamers were impacted when they heavily relied on the monetary investment that they put into streaming on that platform. But I think everyone's going to benefit eventually. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see where it actually takes us.
Yeah.
I've had people from Mixer come to my Twitch channel and go, oh, I've never been here before. I remember you. Like, I'm going to give you a follow. They hung out for the rest of the stream. It goes to show exactly what I've just said. It's going to help everybody. It really is.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I think that about wraps it up. So let's do our sign-offs. Cyber, where can everyone find you, and what do you want to plug? What you got coming up?
You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube on the Cyber Project. I will be streaming later. Probably going to be playing some Warzone if anyone is down.
Come on, you know you will.
Come on.
Yep. I am
Do it.
gonna-
Yes, yes.
Do it. Do
I'm
it.
gonna be eating some charcuterie and playing with a ferret first, and then I'm gonna be streaming. So I eventually will get my YouTube video out once I get the motivation to actually finish it.
Awesome. Cool. Grog, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Twitch at just_grog, JUST_GROG. I'm on Twitter at gamer_grog. I have a YouTube account as well, same name as same name as the Twitch, just_grog. I desperately need to upload content, and I say that every week. So maybe next week will be different. I don't know. Right now, streams are going to be a little wonky. I'm going to stream today, this afternoon, and then I'm probably going to be missing. I hate to say it, but like this whole next week, I won't be able to stream because of home issues and house construction and work stuff and whatever. But I'm hoping that within the next like 3 weeks or so, things will get back to normal.
Cool. Hope so, man. Hope so. Humps, what about yourself?
You can find me on Twitch at Sir Humps, Twitter, Sir Humps_. Instagram, Sir Humps, and your boy made a TikTok, Sir
Yeah, you
Humps on TikTok.
did.
Hey, why are you not following me?
Account is there.
I need to go and check that
I'll
out.
be streaming Monday, Wednesday. I work this weekend, so I won't have a Friday or weekend stream, but I'll be on Monday and Wednesday. You can check me out there.
Awesome. Thank you. And Java.
You can find me on Twitch at JavaMonkey_, Twitter on JavaMonkey_. The underscore is key to the brand. You'll find me on YouTube at JavaMonkey. You can find me in Discord, and you can probably also find me somewhere in most of your favorite games, being terrible and rambling like an idiot. So that's where you'll be able to locate me.
Awesome. Thank you. And I'm Condyfly. You can find me twitch.tv/Condyfly, youtube.com/Condyfly, TikTok and Twitter. Twitter has an extra Y on the end because reasons. And yeah, I mean,
Reasons?
Well, yeah, listen to old podcast episodes and it's covered. I have not been uploading as much YouTube stuff lately. I'm back to the day job now as well, so the full-time dream is over for a while. But I am going to be working on some stuff, maybe looking at hiring an editor or something. I don't know, but we need more YouTube content, so I'm working on it. My streams have also been kind of light because of work, but I'm making some plans this coming week. I really am feeling another 12-hour Civilization sesh with Java here, but we'll work something out.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, thank you very much. Most importantly, guys, if you're listening on audio, come by the stream. We stream most Sundays, and it is just twitch.tv/ZeroStrategyPodcast. Follow the Twitter, twitter.com/ZeroStrategyPod, and we have a YouTube channel as well. If you search Zero Strategy Podcast, you'll find us. We make other videos on there too. We have one that I believe Kibbles was editing, and then there was some sort of disaster and he lost it and had to start again, but we do have videos coming soon. So make sure and check that out. If you've been watching in the live chat, thank you very much. Every week is an absolute pleasure to discuss all these things with you, to see your takes, to see you offering each other support and advice and answering questions is amazing. Thank you very much for that. This has been a long one this week. This is like the longest show we've done in a while. But thank you very much for that. I didn't really have much of a plan, but I think we had some good conversations.
Yeah,
We went over this. You don't have to tell them we don't have a plan.
What
every
episode is it? You know, we didn't really have a plan.
I'll cut this out. Don't worry. I'll cut it out in the edit, right? It's fine.
That's why you want to be here live.
Exactly. So if you are
Now
watching,
we have to eliminate the audience that's watching.
I would never do that. Don't worry, guys. You're safe. I'll keep you safe from Grog. We are gonna go and raid someone. So if you are watching the live stream, stick around for that. It's always a pleasure to see these raids. We'll be back next week, I presume. Thank you very, very much for your time, guys. And we'll see you next time. Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.